The proposed expansion of the light rail into Washington is causing a ton of drama. We need to talk about it. Hey, welcome back to the Living in Vancouver and Camas, Washington YouTube channel. I'm your host, Hannah Dubyne, and I'm stoked you guys are here today because we are talking about a very controversial topic, one that I have avoided up until now, but we have to talk about it because I've seen it in the news cycle all the time lately, and that would be the light rail. We've made videos in the past on the I-5 bridge replacement, which we all know has been in the works for 20-ish years now and still hasn't happened. So go watch our video on that for some details. But the light rail is a part of that project, and honestly, I think it might be the most controversial part. If you guys are new to the channel, feel free to subscribe to get notified for new videos, and we have an amazing email we handwrite for you guys every single week. It's called Weekend Happenings with Hannah. We put the best 3 to 5 local events in there for you, and we send it right out with some other fun stuff, so you can sign up for that down below. So before we dive into the drama around the light rail, we need a little bit of background on what it is and when it started. The light rail is a part of the TriMet transportation system over in Portland Metro. TriMet serves Multnomah, Clackamas, and Washington counties. The light rail first came on the scene over in Portland in the 80s, so it has been around for a while. And TriMet served over 66 million people on their light rail system, or not 66 million people, but they gave 66 million rides in 2024. So that's like a lot of rides. By contrast, over here in Clark County, we currently do not have a light rail system. We don't have like a train car system at all. We have C-Tran, and they have a bus system, which is used, but not used very widely in my opinion. There's a very small percentage of the county that actually relies on this public transportation. Overall, this is one of the major differences between Washington and Portland side in terms of like culture. It is that Portland is very pro public transportation overall, and Clark County is very against public transportation. It's a lot less used on this side of the river than it is over in Portland. Now let's talk about how this relates to the I-5 bridge replacement project. So obviously if the light rail was going to be expanded into Washington, it would have to go over the new bridge. There would have to be infrastructure built for it. And this was agreed upon in 2022. It's supposed to be a part of the plan. So I'm going to read you the quote from the article here that I found online. The plan agreed to by local stakeholders in 2022 includes a 1.9 mile light rail extension that will include a new max light rail station on Hayden Island and 2 new light rail stations in downtown Vancouver. Frank Green, an assistant program administrator for the bridge project, told the Le Centre City Council during a February 26th presentation. So was supposed to be a part of it, but now there's kind of some backtracking and there's a lot of negative sentiment around the light rail here in Clark County. The folks who are fans of the light rail, the 4 side, they say that it is going to ease congestion with daily commuting. People are going to be able to hop on that instead of driving their cars every day. People are going to be able to access the airport easier, and they're going to be able to go to events easier. So that's really the main 4 argument. The against camp, these folks say a couple different things. They say, 1, the project cost is too expensive, which we'll get into in a minute here. Another argument I hear all the time is that people are worried about homeless folks from Portland, which we know there are problems much worse on that side, coming over and being dropped off on the Vancouver side. And lastly, they're worried about an Oregon agency operating in Washington. I think there are merits to both of these sides, both of these arguments. Factually, what I hear overall from people in Clark County, and I talk to a lot of people every single day, is there are way more people that are against this project, against the light rail coming into Clark County than there are for it. Absolutely, I talk to people that are for it, but overall, I would say 80+% of folks I talk to do not want the light rail here. I have a quote to read you from one of the city councilors in Camas, and she says, "The comments I've received have been 100% opposed to light rail to the expense, like the cost of the project. It's very interesting. I haven't received any comments in favor." Camas councilor Marilyn Borkey said. I would agree with that based off of the people that I've talked to. Also in the news cycle lately is the news that 2 cities have voted against the light rail coming to Clark County. These cities are the city of Camas and the city of Battle Ground. In Battle Ground, there was a vote that went, I believe it was 4-3, 4 against it and 3 for. the light rail expansion, and all 7 would have voted against it in Battleground, except they were worried about some prior negotiations with the city of Vancouver for emergency services. So local politics wrapped up in that, right? Battleground is quite a bit a ways from the river, so it makes sense that they don't feel like they're going to get an impact out of that. And Camas, city of Camas, which is a lot closer, was also against it, which I thought was very interesting. Here's a quote from one of the representatives in Battleground. Quote, he said, he worries opposing light rail now could derail the new bridge. He cited bridge replacement leaders' warnings that changing course now would set the project back as much as 2 years at the cost of roughly $1 million a day. We need that bridge for economic viability, McCoy said. So this is the challenge that we're up against, where we've agreed to the light rail, but still a lot of people don't want it. And are we going to have to keep continuing to push the I-5 bridge replacement down the road? Every day it gets more expensive. Every day it's not happening. It's more dangerous. So it's a whole big conundrum here. The last thing we have to talk about related to the light rail is the funding situation and the money aspect. I saved the best for last for you guys because you're going to fall out of your seat when you hear how expensive it is. In order to install the light rail, to get it in with the bridge replacement, it's going to cost $2 billion with a B dollars. $2 billion. That makes it the most expensive light rail project basically in the entire world. And we'll put that graph up here. And we don't use a lot of public transport here. And it's not very long. It's plus 2 miles. We're going 2 miles over the river into Clark County, and it's going to cost $2 billion. So that is just inconceivable. The whole bridge replacement project is supposed to cost between, I think the new numbers are 5 to 7.5 billion. They keep changing, so that's the last I heard. And then it's supposed to cost $20 million a year to operate that light rail here in Washington. The conundrum is this is an Oregon agency that's going to be operating in Washington, so who pays for it? It wouldn't be right if 100% was paid for by Oregon residents, but also it's an Oregon agency and most people are not going to use this. Let's be real. Most people are not going to use this in Clark County. And so Clark County residents don't want to pay increased taxes, but money doesn't come from nowhere. So who pays for it? And this has come up a lot in county council meetings. They're just having a really hard time sourcing funding to pay for this $20 million plus a year expense. I can only imagine if this goes through and we do have light rail put in, that taxes are going to have to go up somewhere. And it might not be a direct tax, but it's going to be put in somewhere because this project has to be paid for. It's not free. So I know that was a lot of information. We're gonna have our sources down below from the articles that I pulled from, and definitely let us know down below what you think about the light rail project. I'm sure we're gonna get lots of opinions. Thank you guys for watching, and if you need help professionally selling or buying a home in Camas, Vancouver, or Clark County, Washington, myself and my team at Dubyne Realty Group, we would love to serve you. Email us or text us, and we can't wait to see you again soon. Bye.